WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Many churches across the state are preparing for a return to in-person services this Sunday, but one Tupelo pastor has been holding services in his church for nearly a month now. Pastor Kevin Armstrong leads the Kingdom Worship Center. Like many churches, he switched from the sanctuary to social media back in March, but shortly after Easter, Armstrong reopened his church, observing social distancing and frequent cleaning and sanitizing inside the building. He's glad many churches are getting back to in-person services, but he has some concerns over state and national lockdowns that shuttered them in the first place.
Lowe's never closed, Home Depot never closed, Walmart never closed, but the church closed. Planned Parenthood never closed, but the church did. And so and people say, well, you're supposed to Romans, 1 Corinthians, follow the laws of the land. There are no laws of the land that forbid the church from coming together and assembling. The Constitution forbids it.
Pastor Armstrong is also encouraging his congregation to lead active, healthy lifestyles and use vitamins and supplements, he says, to help boost their immune systems. Mississippians will soon be able to go back to outdoor recreational activities. This will include playgrounds, racetracks, water parks, and school gyms. In his press conference today, Governor Tate Reeves gave guidelines for those facilities to reopen. They're similar to those for restaurants and salons. Parks will have to be deep cleaned, including places that are not open to the public. Only 50% capacity will be allowed. Any equipment frequently touched will have to be sanitized every 2 hours. Social distancing is required in waiting areas and in lines. Employees will have to wear face coverings. Facilities can reopen Monday at 8 o'clock. For a complete list of the guidelines, you can go to our website, wcbi.com. Well, the state of Mississippi today reporting 402 new cases of COVID-19. Those new cases bring the state's total to more than 12,600. More than 1,600 of those are in long-term care facilities. 16 new deaths are being reported today. Oktibbeha and Monroe counties are each reporting one death. Statewide, there have been 596 coronavirus deaths. More than 137,000 people have been tested for the virus. DRIVE-THRU COVID-19 testing is coming to Oktibbeha County. This testing will be May 28th at the Oktibbeha County Safe Room on Lynn Lane. Now, you have to have an appointment to be tested. In order to get your appointment, you can be screened using the C Spire Health app, or you can call 662-497-7200. You won't have to leave your car for this test. UMMC will contact you with your results after the test is performed. Mississippi and Alabama are seeing sharp increases in unemployment numbers. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics released this data today. Mississippi's unemployment rate for April is 15.4%. In March, it was 5.3%. Alabama's rate is 12.9%. In March, it stood at 3.2%. The federal agency says every state in the country saw an increase in unemployment numbers last month. Hawaii, Nevada, and Michigan were the hardest hit with rates over 20% unemployment. Lowndes and Lee County law enforcement are awarded $58,000 in CARES Act money. U.S. Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith says the sheriff's departments in both of those counties will get a little more than $58,000 actually. At least 9 law enforcement agencies across the state have gotten some grant money, which totals more than $6 million. Lowndes County Sheriff Eddie Hawkins says his department will use the money to equip each patrol vehicle with a computer that deputies will have on the road. Lee County Sheriff Jim Johnson says his agency will use the money to buy CDC recommended supplies for first responders, things like gloves, masks, and sanitizer. Knoxville County leaders have appointed a new District 3 supervisor. Landis Mickens will now fill the seat Sherman Patterson once held. The Knoxville County Board of Supervisors made that appointment this morning. Mickens will handle the day-to-day operations for District 3 until an election is held in November. Patterson died earlier this week after being diagnosed with coronavirus. He was in his 3rd term as supervisor. Fire destroys a camper in eastern Lowndes County. It happened this morning about 10:30 on Ward Road. One person was inside the RV when it caught fire, but that person was able to escape with no injuries. Columbus firefighters assisted Lowndes County District 3 Volunteer Fire Department. The cause of that fire remains under investigation.
We've got some showers and storms bubbling on up in southern Noxubee County, right along the Noxubee-Kemper County line. Some of this could have a little bit of hail in it. This is lifting from south to north. There's a little bit of an outflow boundary shifting on in here. Thunder, lightning, heavy downpours with this, and this is creeping back to the north with time, but that's really the only game in town we have out there this evening. So it looks like this will continue lifting to the north. We'll see if it can get to Columbus or not. In general, it's a warm afternoon here. Let's check out our current temperatures. The lay of the land, upper 80s, low 90s right now. We're looking at those storms down there in Louisville, still at 90 degrees, and our forecast for this evening, well, guess what? We have the chance for an isolated shower storm really this evening, and then our odds will tend to lower as we go throughout the course of the overnight hours, but our temperatures will be extremely mild all night long. We will have a very muggy weekend with more scattered storms. We'll talk about it coming up.
Honoring America's heroes is going to look a little different this Memorial Day. Gatherings will be smaller and probably more private. Our Stephanie Poole joins us in the studio with more on how people will be spending the holiday.
That's right, Andrea. It's a way to honor those who have lost their lives defending our country. While many services are being canceled, some are still planning to commemorate those fallen heroes.
Well, even though we don't have the services, trust me, all the family members and the friends that lost people in combat, they remember it.
Tony Ballard is a retired Master Sergeant. He's a two-time war vet, serving more than 21 years in the Army National Guard and Marines. He says although events are no longer scheduled for Memorial Day this year, he's asking families to still pay their respects.
If they can make it to the cemetery, and if they don't even have to put nothing on it, walk up there and reflect on the sacrifice that person made by dying in combat for this country.
Paul Bell is the current commander, a veteran of foreign affairs at Post 5569 in Ackerman. He believes it's all about unity.
You know, military, police, fire, EMS, you know, all those guys, you do it for the camaraderie and the team. Like you said, even though they might not be having events around, you know, everyone that's been there, done that, families still gonna remember. You know, and it's a daily thing that you remember every single day. 2 events at state cemeteries in Newton and Kilmichael will also be canceled. Executive Director of Mississippi Veteran Affairs, Stacy Pickering, along with other state leaders, are observing with a virtual Memorial Day commemoration.
This Memorial Day is a day that is set aside to reflect on more than 1 million Americans and 4,500 Mississippians who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in defense of our freedom. In response to the COVID-19 pandemic, we've asked our state leaders to participate in a virtual Memorial Day remembrance as they lay a wreath in honor of those Mississippians who have paid the ultimate price. The wreath that is presented is just one way we can say thank you.
Several cemeteries around the state will be open on Monday for visitation.
The community of Oxford turns out to honor a deputy U.S. Marshal as he's released from the hospital just 1 week after he was shot by a fugitive. We'll have that story coming up on WCBI News.
You're watching WCBI's News at 6 with Andrea Self.
A deputy U.S. Marshal has been released from the hospital exactly a week after he was shot during a gun battle with a murder suspect. As WCBI's Allie Martin reports, the wounded law officer was given a hero send-off from the hospital.
1 week ago today, U.S. Deputy Marshal Bob Dickerson was shot during a gunfight with the fugitive. Today, family, friends, and strangers turned out for a parade to honor the hero as he was released from the hospital.
It's incredible. We're just so thankful that he's doing well and he's able to go home and to his babies.
Jane Steelman joined thousands of people showing their appreciation for Deputy Marshal Bob Dickerson. Steelman is Dickerson's cousin and was amazed at the turnout for the Heroes Parade.
This is a celebration, and really what better time than Memorial Day weekend to be honoring one of our wounded warriors.
Senator Roger Wicker was joined by U.S. Marshal Daniel McKittrick, who thanked everyone who played a role in the events of last Friday.
We're honoring our Deputy Marshal, Bob Dickerson, who was wounded last week in the line of duty, and we thank God for sparing his life.
But we're also taking time today to pause and thank God for the people that he used last week to save Bob's life.
Members of the Tri-Delta sorority at Ole Miss were showing their appreciation for the deputy marshal and all first responders.
It's important for a lot of reasons. They were out there protecting us when we had no idea any danger was really happening, and there were so many of them there, and so we wanted to honor him and then everyone else that helped us out that day. And we're so happy that he's happy and safe and good, and we couldn't be happier. We've been praying for him for a week now.
Several people in the crowd said the parade shows the tight-knit brotherhood of law enforcement and also support from the community for those behind the badge. In Oxford, Owlie Martin, WCBI News.
Dickerson is the son of Marshall County Sheriff Kenny Dickerson, the fugitive in last week's shootout. Hunter Kallstrom was killed in the gun battle. He was wanted for murder in Arkansas. So, of course, lots of folks are plans for the weekend.
Warm, humid, scattered storms. We have to dodge some of those storms if you're having a barbecue. And this is our summer storm season. Any storm may have frequent lightning, gusty winds, locally heavy downpours, and a little bit of hail. We have some of those storms out there on radar. We'll show you that and have that 7-day forecast next.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
The holiday weekend is finally here. We have more heat, more humidity. That built in earlier this morning. It will stay with us all weekend long. Upper 80s, low 90s. Daily chances for showers and storms, muggy nights. Not everyone's guaranteed a storm each and every day, but they are possible. Our time lapse from Louisville, Mississippi this afternoon. It was warm, very humid, not a lot of rain for a good chunk of our area today thus far. Or at least this afternoon, we had those morning storms across the northern tier. Now we are looking southeast from Louisville. You can see that outflow boundary right there associated with the storms that are perking up southeast of Louisville. Let's come on into southern Noxubee County right here, just south of Macon. You can see some heavy downpours, embedded thunder and lightning in this, and where we have the brighter reds and the pinks, a little bit of hail being detected, maybe some dime, nickel, perhaps quarter-size hail in some of these stronger storm cells. Let us know on social media if you see anything down there. But those are shifting north, but they will gradually weaken this evening as we head into the mid to late evening hours. It doesn't look like we're going to have a lot of activity around here. There's been a batch of storms in Tennessee. Those, for the most part, will stay to our north. And we have these storms that were developing to our south earlier. Now there's a little bit of an outflow boundary kicking up. There's also one up there to our north, too. And those outflow boundaries act like mini cold fronts and will help to initiate storms during the daytime heating hours. And once we lose the sun, we'll tend to lose a lot of the storm activity. So we've had some wind reported near Memphis, other reports over here in southern Mississippi and Alabama of some hail. So yeah, there could be a little bit of hail in some of these stronger storm cells here early this evening south of Columbus. Later on tonight, pretty quiet but muggy. Upper 60s for lows. Tomorrow, upper 80s to low 90s, very similar to what we had today. Some of you may see a storm, some of you may miss out, but if you get underneath one of those storms, it will have a brief cool down with some of those gusty breezes and those heavy downpours. So tomorrow afternoon and early evening during the daytime heating, we do suspect there will be more scattered showers and storms around. A lot of that will go away tomorrow night as we lose the daytime heating. We'll flare more of the activity back up as we get into your Sunday, and we can just carry this over into your Memorial Day Monday and also for the rest of next week. We've got upper 80s to low 90s where we haven't had rain. Meridian, check that out, 77, some rain-cooled air. So temperatures will be dependent on whether or not you actually get a storm or not over the afternoons here going forward. Very muggy through the holiday weekend, around 90 degrees, a little bit cooler with some better rain chances for the middle of next week.
Well, this is one of the cutest things you'll see today. What's good for the goose is good for this brother-sister pair in Lowndes County. This is Swayze and Sawyer Calloway and the baby geese that they've had since they hatched, which was a week ago. Well, earlier this week, the kids took their feathered friends into the backyard pond for their first little swimming lesson. Geese imprint, so they have come to know these little owners as their parents. Their mother, Emily Ann, says they borrowed an incubator to protect the eggs until they hatched. She says the new additions to their family have been a perfect science lesson, and I think a very cute science lesson also. Coming up, the SEC clears the way to have athletes return to campus in June. The latest on decisions from the conference and NCAA. That's next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Another big step towards sports starting on time in the fall. The SEC gives the go-ahead for football and basketball athletes to return to campus June 8th for voluntary activity. Teams will be able to open up in accordance to university and state and local health guidelines. The decision comes 2 days after the NCAA cleared the way for athletes to return to campus. The NCAA also releasing a statement today that all athletes of all sports will be able to return to campus for voluntary workouts June 1st. For more on the decision, as well as responses from John Cohen, Keith Carter, and Greg Byrne, go to our website, WCBI.com. The Mississippi High School football coaching carousel continues. One Monroe County head coach is stepping down and joining a staff 15 minutes up 25 north. Smithville head football coach Michael Campbell has stepped down from his position and will join Itawamba AHS's staff as offensive coordinator. Campbell spent the past 3 years as the head coach of the Seminoles, posting a record of 28-11 and leading Smithville to the 1A North Half Final in 2018. Former Itawamba AHS offensive coordinator Baylor Dampier recently took the head coaching job at Houston High School. Live sports happening right down the road. The Magnolia Motor Speedway is officially open to the public today for the first time since March 14th. WCBI Sports' Courtney Robb joins us live from the MAG with more. Courtney?
Tom, I know it might not look like much right now, but this is the opportunity that many have been waiting months for. Just being able to sit here in the stands and watch a live sporting event. That's the opportunity that the Magnolia Motor Speedway is giving to fans for Memorial Day weekend, letting them come out for the first time since early March to watch the Sportsman World Championship. Now, the Motor Speedway is promoting that you do practice social distancing, things such as staying 6 feet apart from people other than your family and wearing a mask. They're not enforcing that, but they're promoting it. Yesterday, I had the chance to talk to owner Johnny Stokes about the difference that things have made from just bringing fans back. Here's what he had to say.
Well, it's like any sport, you know, you get energy from the fans, and it's just a great thing. They like them cheering for them, and when they get their picture made after they win, they just love it. And it's kind of a letdown if you don't have any fans in the stands to root for you or holler for you or holler against you. So that's just all of it.
The Sportsman World Championship is a 3-day event. It's the first event that they're allowing fans at again since early March. It's a 3-day event, so tonight is just open practice beginning at 7. Tomorrow there's going to be 60 drivers competing, and only 26 of them will end up making it to championship day on Sunday. A fantastic time. The weather is great, and some fans are finally starting to pile in and kind of get back into the groove of things. Again, the Raceway does want you to practice social distancing with people other than your family and wear a mask if you can. Reporting at the Magnolia Motor Speedway in Columbus, Mississippi, Courtney Robb, WCBI Sports.
Thank you very much for that, Courtney. That's it for sports. We'll have a last degree forecast coming up next.
Farewell fifth grade. Teachers and staff at Overstreet Elementary School in Starkville hosted an Aloha Parade to mark the official last day for students. The teachers decorated Hawaiian-themed signs and cheered and waved as the parents and students drove by this morning. Like many students across the state, these children have not been on campus or seen their teachers since they left for spring break in March. The students will now move on next year to the district's newly built partnership school on the Mississippi State campus. I've never been to Hawaii. Does it feel like Hawaii out there
It's very tropical in Hawaii. I love it. We don't have the trade winds like Hawaii does here, but there has been a bit of a breeze today. Noxubee County, Pickens County, some showers and storms continue. These may get to Columbus, we'll see, but in general that will wane this evening. More scattered showers and storms, Andrea, as we get into your weekend and next week.
All right, so may rain, may not this
weekend.
May not.
Just flip a coin, hope for the best if
All
you're going
right.
to be outdoors.
That is the news at 6 o'clock, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Friday evening. Have a great weekend.